All right, so we're getting ready to teach about measurement, and I have some, kind of an example of some ways that you can teach how to read a ruler. And that's what we want to start with, a ruler. Okay, so we'll go from a ruler, regular 12-inch ruler, up to a scale, and then on up to feet and inches. Well, of course, the scale would include the feet and inches and things like that as well. But right now we're just worried about the ruler and understanding the subdivision of the inch in architectural form. So in architecture we use fractions. That kind of throws kids for a loop sometimes, and I'll kind of point out some areas where they get thrown for a loop. But anyway, what we want to do is read the ruler, a normal 12-inch ruler, down to the accuracy of 1/16 of an inch. This portion here is subdivided into 1/16 of an inch between each inch mark. So you got 4 inches and 5 inches. So between here, this is all divided into 16 pieces. And I'm sure you understand that. This section over here is divided into 1/32 of an inch, or 32 pieces. Okay. All right. I'll get that straight. Anyway, what I'm worried about with students reading rulers is just down to the 16th of an inch. That's typically the accuracy they would go with. And what they need to understand is how the subdivision works in here. So what I do is I teach them, I just take an inch and I teach them how it divides first down into a 1/2 inch. So we take this 1 inch segment and we split it in half, and then we have a 1/2 inch. We take that 1/2 inch segment, we split it in half, we have a 1/4 inch. Then we take the 1/4 inch segment, split that in half, we have an 1/8 of an inch. Then we take the 1/8 of an inch segment, split that in half, we have a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so each little individual mark on here is 1/16 of an inch apart. Sometimes students have a hard time understanding that, and they want to say, okay, this is, instead of saying 2 1/2, they want to say this is 2 8/16. Okay, but we know that we have to make that into a smaller number, and eventually they'll work into kind of carrying this in their head and not having to sit down and write it all out or anything like that. Sometimes they might have to take a few notes or whatever and write it out, but they usually pick it up pretty quick. But anyway, after I teach them how it is subdivided, then what I do is I take snapshots of a measurement, and I might do that simply by either drawing a line or just by putting a point in a certain spot. So if I were to put a point right here, maybe with my pen, use a pen that can easily be seen on video or in photographs, okay, and that would be 2 9/16. Okay, and I kind of teach them two ways of looking at this. Like if this is 1/2 inch mark and this is divided up into 1/16 of an inch, then the 1/2 inch mark would literally be 2 8/16. So one more mark would make it 9/16. Of course, 9/16 you can't reduce down to its lowest form, so that would be 2 9/16. And I do that, and I take a picture of this and many other measurements, going on down the ruler, and making sure that I show a couple of things in that photograph. I want to show, I have another marker here. I'll take a picture and I'll crop it down, make sure I show the 2, and then of course over here where the actual measurement itself is. Okay, so that's about where you want to crop that picture down to. Then you take these pictures into Schoology and you upload them into your questions on like a quiz, and maybe either make them multiple choice, or you can type in. It's best to do both, multiple choice at first and then have them type in the responses, because there's another concept involved with this, and that is going to be our unit of measure identification. So take a bunch of these pictures, upload them into different questions on Schoology in an assessment item, and then of course give them multiple choice possibilities, and they have to select the right ones. Okay, later on when it comes to typing the answers in, now one thing that they have to get correct is, let's say we got 2 1/8 inches. Okay, right here we got two quotation or double quotation mark that represents inches. Okay, on the keyboard, students create a habit, and I don't know if they just don't understand or if it's just a typing habit, that instead of holding the shift button down and then pressing on the quotation button to get the double quotation marks, or if they're just being lazy and hitting two single quotation marks. Okay, now the computers are going to read those differently. So a single quotation mark, of course, is for feet. So if I have something that's 9 feet 2 1/8 inches, it would look like this: 9 feet 2 1/8 inches. Okay, they must understand that they have to use the shift button and then the double quotation mark to identify the units of measure for the inch portion of a measurement. And what that does, because we use AutoCAD and several other CAD programs, they have to type it in that way. They have to use the double quotation marks with the shift and then double quotation mark to indicate inches. If they hit the double quotation or the single quotation mark twice, it looks the same on the screen, but it's not the same thing to the computer. So when you're having them type in measurements, just remember to have them type in this format, and do expect them to do the double single quotation and kind of get their answer messed up or whatever, and it won't read the same. Okay, so those are some things you can do with measurement as far as teaching them how to measure. And then to give them practice, I'll practice giving them, some of these quizzes all throughout the year that shows those pictures, and they're supposed to either multiple choice or type in the answer of what measurement that is. But you can also have them draw things. Just tell them, you need them to draw maybe a house or something that is, 6 3/8 inches by, say maybe, 2.5 inches or something like that. So they would draw that rectangle, and then of course measuring the angles of the roof and stuff like that. They don't actually have to measure. Well, I guess that would probably be a good thing to bring into it as well, is getting that roof pitch right as well. But anyway, you can have them draw anything. I've had them draw all kinds of things: cars, boats, landscape, things like that. Using the ruler, and as they go, they're kind of learning how to use the fractional measurements. But if they're really good at that, and if you don't have any problems with many students, and I get mixed results sometimes. I sometimes have a few students that cannot read a ruler at all, but then of course I'll get groups of students that it's just really easy, and you might do maybe 1 or 2 activities with them on the ruler, and then you're done. Okay, but anyway, that's one thing you can start on with teaching students how to read measurement. And then of course what we'll do from there is we'll go on to learning scale and taking the same ruler and showing how it can represent scale. Okay, so hope this helps, and just please ask me any questions if you have them. I'm not the very best at these video presentations. I've been doing it for a long time, but I just have never, I don't believe I've ever gotten really good at it. So if you don't understand something that I've explained, just please email me. You can call me or whatever. I'll give you my number. If you have any questions, you can call me, and that's really up to you if you want to do that or not. But anyway, I just want to help out any way I can, and I hope this helps. There will be more on the way.